Hey there you lot, welcome back to Fat Glenn's Fish. Happy New Year, January 1, 2026. Today's update video is going to be a bit different to my normal format. I'm going to talk about where I think I'm at right now with regards to my hobby, and I'm going to have a bit of a flashback to where I was about a year ago, and I'll round out with I guess a little wish list of where I'd like to get to this year with my fish and with my YouTube. Hang around and I'll see you on the other side. Let's kick it off with where I'm at as of right now. I've had a great year with the fish. Well, certainly the back end anyway, and I've got lots of cool fishies breeding. We've got lovely little cordos here that we've just harvested recently. We've got a batch of their fry up there. We've got some tanks down this side that look pretty awful because they're green, and that's doesn't mean the fish don't like it. We've got lots of things to work with along this road, things I'm trying to pair off, things that I have isolated pairs of that are breeding well. Up top we've got plenty of fish that I've bred and are growing on for in readiness for selling. We've got more fish that we can poke a stick at. In the layman's speak, I'm super well situated with plenty of stuff to cover off in future videos. Where I was at this time last year though was nowhere near as optimistic, and that all came down to a really simple thing that happened at the worst possible time. I was over in Melbourne for Christmas in late 2024 with the family, and we were having a great we had a great Christmas day with my oldest daughter, who had just bought her first home in Melbourne at 25 years of age, so a fantastic outcome for a young person I couldn't be prouder of. And I came home from Christmas that night to what was a disaster in that a power head that was in one of these big tanks for just for surface agitation's sake had managed to fail, and it set off the circuit breaker, which set off my air blower. And I'd say it must have happened right as I'd left for Christmas. So basically the wall of fish we're looking at here, 4 big tanks, this entire back wall of my shed, 7.2 metres long, 12 4-foot tanks underneath and 4 more on top, and the 8-footer. And across the top here, 4 4-footers, plus a couple of 3-footers, and a couple more 4-footers on the end. All those fish were dead when I got back from Christmas 2024, and I spent the best part of 6 hours out here that night just pulling dead fish out of tanks and throwing them into bags and getting them into the wheelie bin, just in the faint hope that I might rescue something. But I think out of all those tanks I've just mentioned, I think I rescued about 3 bristlenose. So it was a devastating time this time last year, and I was as near as I've ever been to setting a match to this place or coming out with a hammer and breaking all the tanks or whatever. It was just, it would have been so easy to give it up. And it was even made a tiny bit worse with some fish around in the grow out section that were ready to send to market, and you know, I probably had 500 or 600 fish ready that were going to get me a return at the wholesaler to begin the year. So that was not only sort of the lack of being able to breed anything for a time, I also lost the complete capacity to earn anything, which was really devastating. So that's when we shut down our website and sort of really looked inwards to decide which way I was going to go. Anyway, time sort of heals wounds, and with the help of some great people in the hobby that I've met, Alison with these Frontosa helped me, Max and Bill in Melbourne, Michael down here, Matt in Melbourne, Kevin and Craig and Chris in Sydney, Mario up in Queensland, even just Mark over in Adelaide. I got some phone calls from the right sort of people that all offering to help in whatever way they could with sending me anything that I'd lost and trying to get me back on my feet with it. And so thankfully between that and between that and having had enough fish that where I'd stripped some babies, and thankfully because when that power outage happened they were small, they didn't have the oxygen demand that the others did, been able to grow a lot of stuff back, and now things are kind of getting hard to handle again. When I fed my fish this morning, I did a rough count. I think I've got probably 30 fish to strip around the room. You would have seen in my video this week where we worked on the Fronty tank here and got, you know, nearly 100 Fronties out, plus some of these Barracuda, which are going really well. So, you know, a couple of hundred fry from one tank was a great result. And if I was to get off me keister and get out here today, I could produce a hell of a lot more. So that's where I was last Christmas. I'm real good to go again right now, and I guess the next step now is where I'd like to be at the end of the year, and that's just getting some of these cool fish out to market. I'm desperately trying to align myself with a couple of stores on the mainland, primarily one per capital up the eastern seaboard, so that they can get exclusivity from me and not be worried about me sort of competing with or helping their competitors in their marketplace. So that's where I'd like to get with the fish, is to be just sending a couple of nice orders of fish up the coast and get them into your areas and out of Tassie where there really isn't enough market for me. And as for the YouTube itself, I'd love to get past the stage of sort of noticing every time someone unsubscribes, because I'm still very small. I'm going to make an effort to build to hopefully 1,000 subs by the end of the year. And I'm basing that on trying to do regular weekly content. At the beginning of this year, I think I was on 380 odd subs. This 2025 I made about 30 videos and I got about 45 subscribers for all that effort. So it's hard, and I'd love it to be a little bit more rewarding from the effort point of view, but maybe that's the type of content I made. It might not be that interesting. Nonetheless, I'm going to persevere. I'll be regular with my updates, and I'm going to try and do some more informative stuff on some of the things that I do here that maybe the average fish keeper doesn't. We'll try and do some species profiles and, you know, some DIY stuff and all the rest. So thanks to those of you that have hung in. I know I've got a few regular followers and watchers, and hopefully I can find a whole lot more this year. That'll do today, folks. Thanks again and see you in the next one.